Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, and what Greek mythology says about extraterrestrial life. This is an image of Sirius A, the star, and Sirius B on the 7 o'clock position under it, just about the size of our Earth. And Sirius A, the star, is about, twice as big as our sun. So, what do the ancient Greeks say concerning these ancient mysteries? Two French anthropologists, Marcel Griaule and Germain de Terlaine, lived from 1946 to 1950 with the Dogon tribe in Mali of West Africa. The two Europeans persuaded during those years four of the Dogon's highest priests to reveal to them the most sacred traditions of the tribe. The anthropologists were amazed at what they heard. At the center of the Dogon lore was a star. The star is Sirius, about which they knew much more than might be expected. For example, they knew that Sirius has a twin star, the white dwarf star Sirius B, which is invisible to the naked eye from Earth, and they also knew that Sirius B is extremely heavy. According to the priests, it consisted of a substance heavier than all the iron of our Earth. Furthermore, not only did they know that the white dwarf's orbit around Sirius A takes 50 years, but they also knew that the orbit is elliptical. They say they still knew the position of Sirius A in the ellipse. Now, the mystery of Sirius, it's beyond dispute that Sirius occupies a particularly prominent place in the mythology of human civilization. Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, is a double star, binary that is, in the constellation Canis Major, and is about 8.7 light years from our Earth. Around Sirius A is the white dwarf star Sirius B, which is believed to be nearing the end of its life. Unlike its brighter companion, Sirius B, it's invisible to the naked eye and was first observed through a telescope in 1862 by the American astronomer Alvin Clark. As Sirius B is 10,000 times farther than Sirius A, it was not possible to photograph it until 1970. But the most surprising thing was the explanation given by the Dogons themselves for this knowledge of theirs. They believed that their ancestors had been visited in ancient times by space travelers from some planet in the Sirius system. According to Robert K.J. Temple, in his book The Mystery of Sirius, the Dogon are the last people on Earth to worship this amphibious race that landed in the Persian Gulf at the dawn of human civilization. And Temple posits that memories of this event survive not only in Dogon culture, but also in Babylonian culture, Egyptian, ancient Greek myths, legends, and even art. Amphibious aliens and the Babylonian god Oannes. Dogon priests told the two French anthropologists that they called the extraterrestrial visitors nomos. These creatures, they were told, must have lived most of their time in water, a trait they shared with the Babylonian god Oannes, who taught the Sumerians mathematics, astronomy, agriculture, social and political organization, and even written language. In the book Mystery of Sirius, Temple goes further than the connection he makes between the law and Oanni of the ancient Sumerians. He tries to show connection between Oanni and Sirius and the classical mystery religions, which were recorded in encrypted form, and they represented an arcane system of knowledge available only to those initiated into the mysteries. There are some sporadic indications of an association with Sirius, including the recurring element of the number 50, representing the orbital period of Sirius B, and a dog-headed deity representing Sirius A. In his book, Temple tries to support his theories of amphibious explorers from Sirius with references to the mythology of the ancient world. Besides the Missars, of whom Oannes is the best known, there were Dogon and Artagatis, who were worshipped by the Philistines and had the tail of a fish and the body of a man. In other words, something looking like a mermaid or merman. Now, outside the lighthouse of Alexandria of Egypt was said to rest the amphibious god Proteus, who used a cave to protect him from the heat of the star called Sirius. Also, Lake Triton in North Africa was the home of another amphibious god, Triton, who helped the Argonauts. And we know that Triton's son was a Cyclops, and of course we know that Cyclops was, with the one eye in the forehead, was killed by Ulysses. That's why Triton always had storms at the sea to try and kill Ulysses, but Ulysses made it home back to Ithaca. So, because Triton was angry that his son was done away with. Now, the Aegean Sea, that's what the mythology of Homer, of the Odyssey says. Now, the Aegean Sea was the home of Nereus, who had 50 daughters, the Nereids, each half human and half fish. In Phegalia, in the Peloponnese, there was, in ancient times, as Pausanias mentions, a sanctuary of Artemis with an idol of the goddess, who it depicted a woman up to the waist and a fish below. In Rhodes lived the amphibious god Telchines. Zeus chased them from there, and some fled to the mainland of Greece, where they became the 50 dogs of Actaeon. The Telchines were kinocephalic, that is, dog-headed, and had fins instead of arms. Greek mythology. In classical mythology, Sirius is closely associated with the constellation of Orion, at whose heels it lies. According to Greek mythology, Orion's ascension to the heavens took place when the goddess Artemis bowed to him. According to the first version of the myth, Artemis accidentally killed him at the urging of her brother Apollo. Another version says that Orion drew her wrath when he boasted that he killed all the wild beasts in Crete, while a third version says that when he tried to molest her, the goddess took a scorpion out of the earth and killed him and Orion and his dog Sirius, who were immediately taken to the heavens. The Egyptians identified the star with Isis, the wife of Osiris, the mother of Horus. The ancient Greeks equated Isis sometimes with Demeter, sometimes with Hera, Zeus's wife, and sometimes with the moon and Aphrodite. NASA scientist James Oberg has devoted a chapter to The Mystery of Sirius, where he calmly demolishes the argument for extraterrestrial intervention by beings from Sirius and points out, for example, that the Dogons were ignorant of all of Jupiter's moons and thought that Saturn was the farthest planet from the Sun, when in fact Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are. No doubt they would know this if their astronomical knowledge came from extraterrestrial visitors. Oberg mentions that their knowledge may have been influenced by outside sources, but admits that Sirius was always very important to many ancient cultures. And the sources are Riddles of History, Alan Baker, Key Editions. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.